Hi guys, I'm Athena, and today I'm going to talk about something kind of boring. So unless you are interested in listening to me talk about the different books I use to teach myself German, then you might want to click out of the video now. For all the books that I mentioned in this video, I'm going to put the titles and the ISBN numbers down in the description box so that if you are looking for German resources, that will, give you a list of places that you might want to start looking. And the books that I show you today are also going to be from different levels of German, so I've got some beginner books, some intermediate books, and then some advanced books that I want to share with you guys. So hopefully they'll help you no matter what level of German learning you're already at. Okay, so for those of you who have never learned a foreign language before or never taught yourself or just want to take it easy to start, I would definitely recommend not getting some kind of crazy grammar guide as the first book you get when you start learning German or when you start learning any language. I'm just talking about German in specific in this video because that's what I'm showing you guys, the German books. I started with German Demystified, which, as it says on the cover, is a self-teaching guide, and it untangles complicated German grammar rules, masters the essential German verb tenses, and builds a rich German vocabulary. And I would agree with all of that. It also has different quizzes and things throughout. I thought this was great because it just summarized the major grammar points that you would need to know just to have, an understandable conversation with people. And the vocabulary lessons that it taught were very applicable. For instance, what am I going to do this weekend? What are the hobbies I like to do? Things like that. And, how can I buy like train tickets, stuff like that. And then there's also a second version of this book, like from the same brand, which is like German Conversation Demystified. And I never got that book, but they're like a pair book. So you might want to consider looking at those two together. After I finished that book, I graduated to this book, which is German How to Speak and Write It. And this book, it was published for the first time in 1962. So in my opinion, it is extremely outdated. When I was learning this, or when I was using this book, I learned several different types of cigarettes and cigars. I also learned several different types of men's outerwear, specifically, smoking jackets and like different types of raincoats, things like that. So even though this did have some good illustrations and some good, like verb sections, generally I didn't think I learned that much from this book. It was also really important to me that I start reading actual texts and things in German. So because my vocabulary wasn't really at an advanced level, and I still wanted to pick up new vocabulary and be able to read things in German, I got some dual language books, which I kind of just whipped that out of nowhere, but this is great German poems of the Romantic era. I have several books from this same brand. What I love most is that on the left side of the page is the German, and then on the right side of the page is the English. So whenever I, didn't know a word, I could just look to the one side, and most of these poems are like, famous poems that I've ended up covering in my German courses over the past couple semesters. Then I don't have any books to show you for this, but I just started reading lots of German novels and things like that. And, I read Harry Potter, I read a couple other ones, like from actual German authors. And that I think is a great idea, no matter what level you're at, because when you're learning, you can when you're first starting to learn, you can evaluate how much you know by reading a book, let's say, without a dictionary. And then when you're at the advanced level, you can kind of analyze the text and see like, okay, this is my understanding of the text and things like that. And I think that's really helpful. And it's also a helpful, good way to like kind of enforce the grammar in your mind, like subconsciously, and then also to learn and pick up new words. Dictionaries are extremely important when you are learning a foreign language, at least for me, because I had to look up a lot of words. So this was the first dictionary I would recommend. It's Webster's, and then because it's so kind of ruined, I just got a nicer version. So this is the one that I like take to class because it looks very, not wrecked. And both of those dictionaries were just German-English dictionaries, so I would totally recommend that the first dictionary you get for that foreign language be foreign language into native language and vice versa. Then this I wouldn't say is necessary, but it is helpful, especially if you are trying to write a lot in that foreign language and you might need to use a tense that you're not really sure about and things like that. So this is a verb dictionary, and it just conjugates some of the main German verbs, which is extremely helpful, and it covers some grammatical rules as well, and like talks to you about usage. So this, like I said, not necessary unless, you know, you're really like interested in different like verb tenses and things like that. But I do find this helpful. Sometimes I'll consult it when I'm writing like a story or something in German. Another dictionary that I got, which I do find helpful, is this thematic dictionary, which it looks very ugly on the outside, I'm sorry. Just so it like puts together all of the different vocabulary words for different like ideas and different establishments, which I think is great. I think it's a great way, if you learn by, you know, like studying vocabulary lists, like you can easily, you know, check out a book like this. Sorry, it's like got a glare in it. But you can like get like a thematic dictionary and kind of make quizzes and stuff for yourself as you go through it. Then I have something interesting. This would be a German dictionary, which is actually a English school book dictionary for German students. So everything is clarified in German throughout, and that's very helpful. It clarifies also some of the ground rules, and it comes with a CD. So I like this journal a lot, and Pons, it's a very like celebrated brand. I've got another Pons book that I want to show you in a minute. Other than that, there is, you know, I have so many dictionaries. I really recommend, you know, purchasing a really good German dictionary. And I know there's online dictionaries. The one that I use is dict.cc. And whenever I'm doing a translation, though, I do not use online translators just because, or like online dictionaries, just because there's so many options it'll give you. And sometimes, you know, you'll type in one word and it'll give you like 20 synonyms and you might not get the right word. So it's always better to consult a dictionary in, you know, in my opinion, in instances of translation, just because it's more direct and specific and it gives you the exact word, not like 20 synonyms. So then this is a dictionary of the German language, which the entire thing is in German. Everything's clarified in German. There's no German to English at all. And this is very helpful, especially when you get to a higher level of German and you know, once you get to a certain level, you don't need to be told what the English word is, or you don't need to know what the word is in your native language. You can just ask someone who speaks that language, what does that word mean? And then they can explain it to you in that language. And that I always remember better when I'm explained, or when something is explained to me in that way. I don't know if it's the same with you guys, but definitely this is kind of dumbed down. I think that this is a student dictionary, but I would totally recommend once you get to like a certain level. And then this is a kind of small dictionary, but it's the last one I have, and it's a verb dictionary from French to German and vice versa, which I find helpful just because it's my two like main foreign languages that I'm learning. So it's always helpful, and I can kind of keep up with my studies at the same time in those two languages. And, you know, I wouldn't recommend, you know, getting a dual foreign language dictionary unless you're like, you know, really like serious, or like unless you know like the other foreign language like really well. Then I have my travel books, and I couldn't find the German book of this, but I did find my Russian and Czech ones. So this brand, Lonely Planet, I absolutely love these books. I have them for several different languages. It just covers basic phrases that you would need to know when you're going to whatever country it is. And like I said, I don't know where my German is. I think it's at my house, and I'm in my dorm right now. And that's actually why I'm making this video right now, is because I'm going to be packing soon, and I'm going to, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to get to unpack everything to make this video before I go to Germany for the next year and a half. So I would totally recommend, you know, just like your average books like these, your average travel books, because some of the lessons that weren't covered in the like actual teach yourself German books were just things like, you know, how to share common interests and just tips for travelers, like how to get around airports, things like that. Like those are always useful things to know. I don't know how many of you are familiar with spark charts, but these are like some of the best inventions that I've ever seen for foreign languages in my entire life. Basically, these just summarize all of the main grammar points, and they're really small and compact, so you can put them in your folder and just take it to class, or, you know, you might not have time to consult it in class, but you can just put this in your suitcase, whatever, and you can bring this instead of a huge, heavy textbook when you're visiting a foreign country, which is great. This is the other Pons book that I was talking about. This is Die Deutsche Grammatik und Rechtschreibung, and so it basically clarifies all of the most important languages, all of the most important rules for the German language very easily and understandably. And this is great. It's entirely in German. It is for like it's intended for German natives, so it's not dumbing things down for you, which I think is great because sometimes when you're using foreign language books, they will kind of talk to you like they think you don't understand what a preposition is and stuff like that. But this assumes that you already know, which is magnificent. This is also a small German grammar summary book, Essential German Grammar. I have this for several other languages as well. I think it's a good brand. It's kind of small. It doesn't cover all of the main topics, but it covers the most important ones. So, you know, it's small, compact, again, kind of like the Spark charts. This book is more of a textbook style book, and I love this one because it uses colors. Whatever lesson they're trying to teach, they will highlight it in red, so it's very easy to spot out what they're talking about, and I think this book is very clear. It's Essential German Grammar, and you know, this is great. This is one of the books that I consult very often. Now we get to workbooks. I have several different German workbooks, and I'm just going to show you one of them, but I'll list all three of them that I have down in the description box. But German grammar drills, this is great. You know, it's just, you know, fill in the blanks, and then at the very end there's all of the corrections and stuff. This is a great way to quiz yourself, especially if, you know, you don't have a German teacher and you are teaching yourself, because then you can evaluate your progress. And the other two books that I have are German verb tenses and German sentence builder. And these are generally, I think, they're all MacGraw-Hill, so they're all like similarly formatted. And now I'm going to cover some of the books that I used in my German courses over the past couple semesters. And I'm going to start off with the most important one, the one that I consult this book more than any other book. This book comes with me to Germany when I go to Germany, and it comes with me to class whenever, you know, I need it for class or something like that. This is German in Review, and it basically combines grammar rules with exercises, and it explains everything extremely well, and it highlights, you know, so many of the main topics. This is like a definite book that I would totally recommend. One of the most important books that I've used in my German learning. Then this is a small translation book. It's Jannach's German for Reading Knowledge, 6th edition, and basically it just has different small articles with different you know, grammar exercises, things like that. But what we did in my class was we went through and we looked at some of the grammar, and this was basically helping us learn how you should go about translating certain tenses and things like that. I thought it was very helpful. This was the first German book that I ever used in school. And basically it just sums up different lessons about different places in Germany and Austria and Switzerland. It mainly covers Germany though. And just, you know, talks about some of the different cultural things that you can notice in each city and the different places you can go and stuff like that. Because this class was a conversational German class, and all of the students in it could already speak generally fluent German. And then who could forget about our little books that we keep hidden and secret? I don't know how accurate some of the things in this book are, this Talk Dirty German book are, but basically it's teaching you all of the dirty little slang phrases that you are going to whisper to your friends on the street. And when I say whisper, I mean probably say it loudly or not at all. And then apart from German learning books, I've also made sure to study German history extensively. Not only because, you know, I'm interested in living in Germany and stuff, but also because I get asked a lot of questions about Germany because, you know, for some reason people have assumed that I'm a Germany expert. So I might as well, you know, educate myself so that I can answer their questions. So, you know, I've just got 26 books on German history in my room, which is very sad, very sad. But you know, I think that's interesting if you want to educate yourself about the country. And you can also get, you know, travel guide books. So, like, educate yourself about the, you know, culture and the different, you know, Baukunst and things like that. So the different architecture stuff. But yeah, so I would totally recommend, if you're super interested in, you know, like learning German, not only check out the different types of learning books, but also like get yourself interested in German culture, German media, and different places in Germany, so that if you visit Germany, you'll be like psyched about it and you won't be like, oh, I'm in this small town that I didn't want to go to. Okay, so I think that's it, and hopefully this video didn't bore you to tears. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, feel free to write a comment here or message me on Facebook or at my email. Either way, it's totally fine. Bye!